Good morning. Good morning. It is 4:45 a.m. on Wednesday. This West Wednesday. All right. That's West Wednesday. It's for Tawanda Jones. You feel me? Silence is consent. See that? It's Martin Luther King. I applied for his job. That's what I wanted. I wanted his job because it's been vacant too long. By applying for his job, that meant that I was going to have to deal with these issues that I've been going through. See that? That's John Bailey, my lawyer. That's the case number, Dwayne Davis. That's Governor Hogan. That's Governor Hogan. It's a movie release for a documentary I was shooting. In 2006, I started making this movie called The Letter Design. Was a documentary about my life. It showed my life in Lake County, Illinois from 1974 to 1991. It showed my criminal behavior. It showed everything I did. And then it showed what I did in Baltimore from 1991 to 2000 and until now. It's Waukegan's worst to Baltimore's best. I went from selling drugs and pimping hoes and killing to selling barbecue and saving lives. Show the good in the hood and the positive things in the community. You see me on Take on America. All right, Take on America. Let me see it. Take on America was a way for us to give a voice to some of the Baltimore, but Take on America cut America short on the conversation. It's a good idea, but it was bullshit. Straight up, it's a good idea to have this conversation, but the way that you had the conversation was bullshit. You kept us from talking to DeRay and checking DeRay about selling out the black community. DeRay McKenzie is a black sellout. We got too many self-serving demagogues claiming to be leaders, claiming to do this kind of work, and they not. You had DeRay McKenzie, you had Kwame Rose, you got Pastor Jamal Bryant, you got Al Sharpton, you got Jesse Jackson Jr. These is black sellouts and they hurting the black community. So I'm gonna pull your black card. You got a problem with me? Holler at me. I ain't hard to find. Al Sharpton done seen me face to face. Everybody I name face to face, I done seen you. So what I say on Facebook, I say to your face. So y'all got Facebook is constructed, and I'm gonna use Facebook the same way that the Arabs use Facebook. But they uprising. We're gonna uprise here in America. We're gonna use social media for something other than booty popping and shit like that. Now, if you go to my Twitter page, and I'm gonna attach the Twitter, I'm gonna attach the live feed that I did for Twitter about 20 minutes ago. All right, I'm gonna attach it to this video because y'all messed up my cell phone. Y'all messed up my cell phone, and I can't do live feed on Facebook with my cell phone. I can't make phone calls. I can't do a lot of shit with this cell phone. But this cell phone got a lot of information. And when we go to court for that case, I don't want no misunderstandings, all right? Mayor Sam Cunningham, the head state's attorney, chief public defender, the Chicago FBI, and the Department of Justice. All right? And I want y'all, because this is a writ of certiorari. And I'm going to my lawyer with my public defender. And the public defender, I talked to him yesterday. And I made her give me this. See, just like the Khalif Browder story, I'm showing you about being incarcerated in America. I'm showing you how the state's attorney abuses their prosecutorial discretion. You feel me? They can charge you with anything. You can indict a ham sandwich. Yeah, well, I ain't a ham sandwich. I'm a black man. I'm not a ham sandwich. You indicted me. You knowingly presented false evidence to the grand jury in Illinois and in Maryland. I filed a class action lawsuit. That's what I came to Illinois for. I filed a $2.5 billion class action lawsuit. I was trying to keep y'all from building that new jail you got. You locked me up to keep me from filing that lawsuit. You locked me up and took evidence exposing the corruption in your courts. Dog, I used to sell dope back here in the 80s and the 90s. My client list was some of the who's who in Lake County. And I wouldn't turn it in none of the people on the corner. I was turning in the police that I was selling drugs to. I was turning in the politicians that I sold drugs to. Now you go to Angelo Kyle and you ask Angelo Kyle if he ever did cocaine. You ask Angelo Kyle if he ever bought cocaine from me. But he's your representative. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of your representatives that are representing you, but participated in this illegal war on drugs. I've known Angelo forever. His daddy was my pastor, Reverend Lightfoot. You feel me? I grew up at Shiloh Baptist Church. The Gardners, the Stackhouses, the Davises. You feel me? I got roots in this city. I was born on 14th Street, the dividing line between Waukegan and North Chicago, over by the Hervey Street projects. Right across the street from the Elks Club. I went to Baltimore in 1991, straight out the Department of Corrections. I just got out of jail, went straight to Baltimore. I started reinventing myself. I didn't sell drugs. Well, I lied. I did sell drugs. I did do things. I did things because I had to make a living. I came out of jail. I didn't have a job. You had me marked as an ex-felon. So I went from Illinois to Baltimore. I admittedly sold drugs. I had to make money to bring my family out there. I had to create some money. So that's what I did. I did that and I worked. I was homeless for about a year. I was homeless my first year in Baltimore. I was sleeping on people's couches like I'm sleeping on people's couches now. You feel me? I made enough money to bring my family out to Baltimore. I worked for the NSA. I worked for the FBI. I was in asbestos and lead removal. I did restoration work. And you never asked me about my criminal background. You feel me? I worked at NSA. I worked at Quantico. I worked at the FBI in Pennsylvania. I was a project manager. But when 9/11 came by and y'all started doing background checks, y'all started cutting ex-felons out of jobs. Y'all stopped cutting ex-felons out of careers. I went from $40,000, $50,000 a year to zero because ex-felons couldn't work in these positions. And it was because of the war on drugs. And now you want me to talk about opioids. No, dog, y'all sit here and doing Jim Crow laws and Jim Crow justice all over again, and you're using the war on drugs to do it through mass incarceration in the prison industry. So we're going to address that. We're going to address it in court, and we're going to address it on film. Y'all made me famous for toilets. So I'm going to use that and I'm going to run with it. I'm getting ready to set up a kiosk. I'm going to find 10 or 15 good items and we're going to sell that. We're going to sell this. Cups of shit. You feel me? We're going to sell this. Toilets. We're going to sell this. We're going to call it potty training politicians because people pay attention to dumbass shit. So I'm going to give you a lot of dumbass shit to pay attention to. And I'm going to sell this shit to raise money for the community. You feel me? We're going to make portable toilets. Potty training politicians. We talk about America. What makes America great? America's hate. Y'all got Donald Trump as president. So for the next 2 years, I get to use Donald Trump as a prop. Like Petey Green from back in the 70s when Petey Green TV, Petey Green was on Radio 1 and Petey Green show. I'm going to give you a Petey Green show. And I'm going to do it with this. Live feeds, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You feel me? I'm going to use social media to address this issue. I'm going to use social media because I can't afford to use mainstream media. I can't afford Paramount Pictures. You feel me? So I'm going to do this on Netflix. I can't get to Netflix, so I'm going to use it on live feeds. We're going to do webinars. I'm going to find out how to do this in a webinar. I'm going to start selling this shit. I'm going to start podcasting this. And I'm going to charge you 50 cents. I'm going to show you how to make something out of 50 cents. I'll charge you 50 cents to see what the fuck I've been doing. Charge you 50 cents a month. If I get 1 million people for 50 cents a month, How much money do I make? I'm gonna show you that I make $1 out of 15 cents. I'm gonna show you what I've been doing for the last 40 years. And we got it all on film. We're gonna talk about mass incarceration in the prison industry for the last 40 years. We're gonna talk about being black in America for the last 40 years. We're gonna talk about the criminal justice system. We're gonna talk about mass incarceration. We're gonna talk about your courts. We're gonna talk about the corruption, the racism in your courts. See, the thing is, I'm still alive and breathing. As long as I'm alive and breathing, and everybody that I named and all that shit, you got to deal with it. My end game is the Supreme Court. Just like Martin Luther King, 1964 Public Accommodations Act, he made a difference in the streets and he made a difference in the courts. That's what made Martin great. I already been to court. I beat you in court. I beat you in the streets. But now I got to put that shit on him so the world can see it. Because the world is watching Baltimore. The world is watching America. The world is watching this dumbass motherfucker. They watch the shit that come out his mouth. Watch the shit that come out my mouth. We're going to pop that shit off. I treat y'all like Charlie Brown, dog. Make a ham sandwich out of this shit. Make a ham sandwich out of this shit. I'm gonna put Charlie Brown and Donald Trump together, and we see which one is you gonna laugh at. Because for the next 2 years till 2020, I'm gonna be shooting, videotaping. You feel me? I'm gonna change my product. I ain't changing my hustle. I'm gonna change my product. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be a film producer. I want to bring the film industry to Maryland. You feel me? And we're gonna do it through this. We're gonna do it through this. It's a movie release for Letters Design. I've been shooting Letters Design for 13 years. All right. So the Letters Design is gonna be my outlet. It's gonna be my inlet, and we're gonna take Letters Design to the courts. If Rob Fix don't give me my material, if Rob Fix don't do what we supposed to do with Letters Design, I'm gonna include Letters Design in my lawsuit, and I'm gonna include Letters Design in my access to the Supreme Court. Matter of fact, Letters Design is gonna be the Supreme Court case, because everything that Rob Fix been shooting for the last 13 years, everything he got in his basement is gonna be subpoenaed to be showcased at the Supreme Court. The movie. I'm going to show you that I was making a movie and prove I was making a movie, and I'm going to prove the deaths that the government went to keep me from making the movie. You put guns to my head. You made me homeless. You tried to kill me on more than one occasion. You incarcerated me. You feel me? And it's all on film. It's all on film. Y'all remember the movie Superfly? When Superfly wanted to get out of the drug game, Superfly gave this envelope. Remember? Superfly gave that envelope to that police. He said, don't let nothing happen to me. So I'm giving you this envelope. And you see the names on it? Don't let nothing happen to me before I go to court. Don't let nothing happen to me before this movie releases. Don't put your hands on me. And anytime that you lock me up or charge me with something, call the Department of Justice. I got a witness protection program application in their hands. So really, you locked up a whistleblower. Don't that make sense? Or does this make sense? They charged me with terrorism 3 different occasions, but the Department of Justice, the FBI, Homeland Security never got involved because they knew I was making a movie about y'all. And if Homeland Security got involved, if the Department of Justice got involved, if the FBI stepped in the room, they got to put my case file in the court. You got to bring my case file in the court. I'm not no dumbass motherfucker. I'm a smart motherfucker. I ain't never paid for a lawyer in my life. I know the law. My daddy taught me how to read. My daddy put me to school. My daddy made me do these things. My mama taught me how to love. My daddy taught me how to fight. Martin taught me how to fight. Thurgood Marshall taught me how to fight. Frederick Douglass taught me how to fight. Dred Scott taught me how to fight. And Dred Scott taught me about court. I am Dred Scott. I'm black in America. Do blacks have rights in which white America respects? We about to find the fuck out. I am Dred Scott. Case number 07CF490. You feel me? I won my case in Maryland. I beat you in court, and I used a toilet to do it. I beat you in court. Now we're going to use a toilet for this case. It's either give me my property back, do what you're supposed to do, or we're going to go to the Supreme Court. If we go to the Supreme Court, the world going to see your prison industry, and the world going to see mass incarceration, and the world going to see the fucking toilet. How fucking embarrassing is that? If you think he embarrassing to America, how embarrassing is it going to be for me to take you to the court, to the Supreme Court with a toilet? You done seen me on the Supreme Court steps with the toilet. I already set this shit up. I was shooting a movie, so I had to set it up. You seen that toilet in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago. You seen that toilet everywhere. Now you got to take my transcript from February 20th, 2008, where I read Dred Scott in the court record. I read Dred Scott in the court record. I asked for a change of venue to have my case held in Illinois. I read it in the court record. That's why it's going to be Dred Scott. I read it in the court record, and the state's attorney heard it. I read it in the court record. Judge Boris know about it. Judge Bruce know about it. Judge Rossetti, Judge Hall, Judge Foreman. I asked for a change of venue, and I spent the whole day in court that day. I went to Judge Rossetti. I went to Judge Foreman, and you're going to have to get the transcripts from all of those encounters and all of those meetings. I asked for a change of venue because I feared for my life. Y'all tried to kill me when I was in the Lake County jail on more than one occasion. And if it wasn't but the fact that my cousin worked at the Lake County jail at that time, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. You just killed the inmate in the Lake County jail 2 weeks ago. So you definitely need to have this federal investigation. I'm a whistleblower. President Obama asked for a full investigation May 8th, 2008. President Obama, Senator Obama, asked for a full investigation into my illegal incarceration. And when he asked for that investigation, nobody did it. Angelo Kyle didn't do it. Mary Cunningham didn't do it. Sabantan didn't do it. The county board didn't do it. The Illinois delegation didn't do it. Lisa Madigan didn't do it. Governor Blagojevich just got locked up, so he couldn't do it. Congressman Cummings didn't do it. Congressman Jackson didn't do it. Dick Durbin didn't do it. Terry Link didn't do it. Because the prison industry in Maryland and in Illinois is your cash cow. Locking up black people is your cash cow. We traded the penitentiary for the plantation cotton for cocaine, and we the cash crop. You permitted me to sell drugs from 1981 to 1990 with no fear of going to jail. I didn't go to jail till I wanted to stop selling drugs. I didn't go to jail till I started the Shorty program. I went to jail because of the illegal war on drugs. I am a enemy combatant. You feel me? You had prohibition and you was killing white kids. You was doing drive-bys. You had the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Al Capone got famous. Corruption was rampant. Because of the illegal war on alcohol, you made more money with alcohol being illegal than you did legal. But you started killing white kids and white people. So you ended the war on alcohol. Fast forward, you open up the war on drugs. But the war on drugs is a way of re-enslaving black community under the 13th Amendment. The war on drugs is a way of keeping population in genocide in the black community. Self-imposed genocide. But at the hands and manipulation of our government. You talking about gangs and drugs and violence? In the war on drugs, and you'll end the violence. Because if I got 2 pounds of cocaine for free and I'm getting it like you get away opioids, then we ain't got no war on drugs no more. We got treatment. You locked up generations. You murdered generations behind the war on drugs, but now you got opioids and you want me to care about you. I don't, because you didn't care about me. Community conversation. Let's have a community conversation about opioids. Let's have a community conversation about opioids. Let's talk about Abbott Laboratories. Let's talk about the opioids that you use inside the prison industry on the inmates. Let's talk about the opioids that you use inside the prison industry on the inmates. How much money do you get off of that? You got a drug line 2-3 times a day in the Baltimore County Jail and the Lake County Jail. You call it med call. And y'all use the pharmaceutical. Y'all practice that the medication that y'all put in the streets. Y'all use it on the inmates. The same way that you did the Tuskegee Institute. You feel me? Y'all using inmates for testing y'all pharmaceuticals. Governor O'Malley went to India and Pakistan in his last term, and he made a deal with the Pakistanis and the Indians and the pharmaceutical companies over there. You over there protecting Afghanistan because of the opioids. That's the war on drugs. The opioids. Back in 1981, we were selling teas and blues. That was synthetic heroin. That was the shit. That was a prelude to what y'all doing now. We were selling teas and blues. Ask anybody in Lake County. Ask anybody in Chicago in 1986 during Operation Grey Lord. You feel me? We were selling opioids because we couldn't get heroin. So the pharmaceutical companies produced this shit and they put it on the streets. Check it out. Everything I'm telling you is legal. It's legit. It's the history of the drugs in America. Dog, I've been selling drugs since I was 14 years old. 14 years old. I'm 59 now. I'm almost 60 years old. When I came to Baltimore, I stopped selling drugs. I changed my product. I didn't change my hustle. I started selling food because food is addictive just like drugs is addictive. It's a different addiction. So somebody got to feed that addiction. That was me. Changed my product. I didn't change my hustle. I work for 85% of the richest people in the state of Maryland. Governor Hogan know me. Governor O'Malley know me. Governor Ehrlich know me. All y'all know me, but you let Schellenberger call me a terrorist because I was making a movie about y'all's war on drugs, your opioids. Y'all got mad because I told the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil, dog. See, when you tell the truth, you ain't just gotta tell it once. When you tell a lie, you gotta tell another lie, another lie. Dog, you lied on me. I beat you in court. I beat you with y'all locked me up for a toilet, right? Y'all locked me up for a toilet. Y'all held me for 86 days for a toilet that I put in front of the Towson Courthouse. That toilet in front of the Towson Courthouse had Scott Schellenberger on it. It had Richard Scheer on it. It had everybody in Maryland that were involved in the illegal war on drugs. It had everybody's name on it. Dr. Lamont Hill. It showed the role the media played in it. You feel me? And it was a prop for a movie. It was also evidence for a case. I had a $54 million lawsuit in Baltimore City. So why would I put a bomb in Baltimore County? Why would I blow up the courts and the courts is going to pay me my money? You feel me? You locked me up for a toilet. You took this toilet to court. All right. You had one toilet. I brought another toilet. And Miss Hertzberger from the Visionary Arts Museum, she's my customer. Miss Hertzberger took a toilet that I gave her in December of 2010 for the case against Governor O'Malley. In the politics. It was at the Visionary Arts Museum. So we brought 3 toilets in the court. I fired my lawyer and defended myself in the court, forced Jerome Joyce on me. So me and Jerome Joyce was at a conflict of interest. I was going to win my case on appeal anyway. I have a right to defend myself. Look up State of Illinois versus Dwayne Davis, 1988. I'm in the courts. I'm a precedent-setting case in the courts already. I'm already in the courts. So I'm going to go to court again. So I'm going to go to the Supreme Court on this one. Look it up. Davis, Illinois versus Davis. I turned in guns and drugs. It was about the war on drugs. That was the case. It was about the war on drugs. The guns and the violence behind the war on drugs. N62528. I'm the only drug dealer that ever wanted to stop selling drugs that quit. I quit in such a way. I shot up the town for like 45 minutes. I wouldn't do that shit today. I went from my house at 822 Wadsworth to Jesus' Name, and I shot up the town. I had a parade, a one-man show. You can ask anybody in Lake County, Illinois. Val King, Will King, Parnell, Bogart, Craig Taylor, Crystal Taylor, Samuel Robinson, Eric Pullett, Lori Ivy, Sharon Gardner. Ask anybody in Lake County about 386. I shot the town up. I took a 357 Magnum, a 38, 12 gauge shotgun, and I shot the town up. I didn't shoot nobody. I scared the shit out of y'all. You put your hands on my daughter, that's why I did it. You put your hands on my daughter, LaQuish. And the police put their hands on my daughter. When you put your hands on my daughter, that's not gonna fucking happen. So I showed you what happens when you fuck with my kids. I go to jail, I die for my kids. Now I go to jail or die for my community. Some things is worth dying for. I ain't scared of death. Me and death been a playmate all my life. If you black in America, your shadow is death. If you black in America, you walking in the shadow of death. Get that one straight. This ain't my fight, this our struggle. I'm just a talking head, just like this. So imagine this, Donald Trump and Shorty. You talk to Donald Trump and Kanye West, Donald Trump and Steve Harvey, think it'll ever happen? Wayne Dupree, Gary Collins. I'm a black Republican. I'm a black radical Republican. And I told Mark Steiner, and I told Anthony McCarthy, we're going to get blacks to join the Republican Party. We're going to get 20, 40, 50, 100,000 black ex-felons, or black ex-felons, not just blacks. We're going to get ex-felons from, we're going to get ex-felons to join the Republican Party, black, white, and Hispanic. And we're going to start dealing with the war on drugs. We're going to start directly approaching and affecting the war on drugs. I ran for governor in 2014. I ran against Larry Hogan. I ran against Hogan. Me, Brian Vaith. It was Vaith Davis against Hogan and Rutherford. And we told you then that we wanted to talk about the war on drugs. We told you then about the corruption in the court. You said that you was going to address it, and you didn't do it. And Hogan been avoiding me ever since. When I hollered Mike Check, it scared the shit out of y'all white people. I hollered Mike Check about 2 weeks ago, and Johnny Oleski's father almost shitted his drawers. We're going to talk about Johnny Oleski. We're going to talk about the Baltimore County Detention Center. We're going to talk about Baltimore County Courts. If y'all don't disbar Scott Schellenberger and charge Scott Schellenberger the same way that y'all did Nafon, then y'all going to get a lot of embarrassment. During the 2018 elections, I've been hollering grand jury, grand jury, grand jury. Johnny Oleski, you in office now. Kathleen Pugh, you in office. Mosby, you in office. McFadden, all of y'all in office. So 2019, when I come to Annapolis, I'm gonna have this in one hand for the Supreme Court, and I'm gonna have this in the other hand about making a movie. And the movie is gonna be about every politician that works in the state of Maryland. I'm gonna give you a movie release. Just like Hogan. Everybody gonna get a movie release because the movie gonna be about y'all. The movie was always about y'all. It was about mass incarceration in the prison industry. So when I come down to the 19 session, the movie is gonna be about defending black people's rights. I'm gonna put that camera in your face and I'm gonna ask you questions. Tony Bridges, I'm coming to you especially because you used to work for Governor O'Malley and his community liaison. Tony Bridges knew about this from the beginning. And if he say he don't, he'll fucking lie. That's why he defriended me on Facebook. That's why he blocked me when he was running for office. Tony Bridges used to work for Governor O'Malley. Mayor Pugh worked for Governor O'Malley. Governor O'Malley created a machine, and everybody on that machine get paid off of mass incarceration. Everybody a part of Governor O'Malley's machine knew that I was making a movie because I told y'all about it. I didn't tell you what the movie was about until it was too late. When you found out I was about mass incarceration in your prison industry, you kept locking me the fuck up. You sent police in my house and put guns to my head. Dog, I'm from Illinois. I'm from the South Side. If you pull a gun on me, you got to pull that fucking trigger. If you pull a gun on me, I gotta hear that shit go bang. I gotta feel that hot lead. I gotta feel that shit. You pull a gun on me and talk to me, you ain't nothing but a bitch. You ain't nothing but a bitch. You pull a gun on me and don't use it. My daddy told me when I was a little boy, don't never pull a gun on a man and don't pull the trigger. If you pull a gun on a man, you're supposed to use it. My daddy told me that because of the way the white people was fucking with niggas. So if I pull a gun on you, I'll use it. I don't pull a gun out to wave and threaten. No, when I pull that gun in, I put that thing out on you. So I wanted to show the power of the gun and the drugs. All right. I put my guns and shit down back in '86. I became an advocate against the war on drugs. I went to jail for the right reason. Now we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. Go to Twitter right now and look at the last feed on Twitter. Go to my YouTube. I've changed nothing. My agenda been the same. I ain't changed nothing since I started this. So when I come back to Baltimore next week, or whenever I get back to Baltimore, Jane Miller, Barry Sims, Doug Collins, Marty Bass, Mike Shue, Mike Helgram, Gigi Barnett, Ston Saunders. Turn that shit over to the Department of Justice because the shielding law don't apply. You participated in fraud. Silence is consent. You knowingly locked up a whistleblower and you knowingly lied to the public and said I was a terrorist. Shit ain't gonna fly. When I come back to Baltimore, I'm gonna be putting that toilet in front of your station. I'm gonna make you call the police. When you call the police, you're gonna have to lock me up. You lock me up, we go to court. We go to court. We tell the truth. We tell the truth. We stop the lies. Silence is consent. I'm far from silent. I'm one of the loudest motherfuckers you know. When I mic check the room, everybody know I'm in the room. So Mayor Pugh, you gave me that community, hold on. Mayor Pugh gave me this community Verizon award, all right? See that? It's for my community service. Mayor Pugh gave me this award thinking that I was gonna be quiet. Mayor Pugh gave me this award so she can come down and take pictures with us during the 2014 elections so she can get elected. Mayor Pugh, when you run for office again, everything that you didn't do, I'm gonna be standing on you. Mayor Pugh, when I come back to Baltimore, I'm gonna be standing at City Hall. I'm gonna put that Donald Trump toilet, I'm gonna put that camera in your face, and I'm gonna ask you questions every time you walk from that truck to the fucking door. Anybody that work in City Hall, getting ready to step my game up. You gotta go to work in City Hall. I'm gonna put this camera out and we're gonna talk about your shit. Y'all getting ready to swear in a new commissioner from Fort Worth, Texas. Let me tell you something about that shit too. Because like I said, I'm a community activist. I've been policing the police since 2006. You feel me? You bringing in another police officer from another state, has no ties to Maryland, has no ties to Baltimore, has no relationship to Baltimore. You want to put his ass in the middle of Baltimore's police. You want to put him in the streets. That shit ain't gonna work. Streets ain't gonna respect him. The police ain't gonna respect him. And the only reason that Mayor Pugh is hiring him is because he has ties to Commissioner Batts. He has ties to O'Malley's machine, and Governor O'Malley picked his ass. Pugh didn't pick him. O'Malley picked him. Anything that Pugh do, O'Malley tell him to do it. Call me a liar, tell me I'm wrong. You part of the O'Malley machine. That's why Ben Jealous didn't get elected, because he ain't part of the O'Malley machine. You didn't see Pugh out there campaigning for him. She said, hey, but she didn't go out there and push that man. She had no intentions of Ben Jealous winning. You wanted Hogan to stay in because you supported Hogan's zero tolerance, the stop and frisk. That crime bill 122, Pugh approved it. Pugh approved it because it came from O'Malley. It came from Bobby Zirkin. You feel me? Zirkin ain't working. Y'all hate me because I know your politics. I know my politics because I'm from Illinois. the most corrupt state in the union. I learned from Mayor Sabanjan. I learned from Mary Washington. I mean, I learned from y'all, your county board. I learned from Bobby Thompson. All right. Now, on September the 8th, 1978, Bobby Thompson, the mayor of North Chicago, Chief Rockingham, chief of police of North Chicago. Y'all went to school with my daddy. Y'all went to school with my daddy. Y'all know me. This is a small town. Everybody know everybody. We related and shit like that. September 8th, 1978. Me and Karen Thompson slipped off and we overslept. It was like one of those Romeo and Juliet moments. See, I was in love with Karen Thompson and she was in love with me. I was in the Navy. She was in high school. I got her pregnant before I left and she had an abortion. But we were still seeing each other. You can ask Cheryl, you can ask Ferris, you can ask Bobby Thompson. I brung Karen back about 5 o'clock in the morning because she slipped out the house. Karen arranged this. Karen did this. I didn't do this. Karen made the call. I didn't do it. Karen made the call. I came and got Karen, picked Karen up. We spent the night together. Overslept. I got her back at 5 o'clock in the morning. And when I was bringing her into the house, her father was sleeping her father was in the car in that black and white Delta, that convertible Delta. We was on Duckdale Road in that house that they had. And I brought her home. And he jumped out the car and slapped the shit out of her, knocked the shit out of her. All right. So I jumped out my car and I was gonna whoop his ass about beating his daughter. That changed because he pulled a gun out on me. He pulled a 38 out on me. And he emptied that bitch on me. He didn't hit me, he missed me. But he tried to kill me. So I filed a police report with the North Chicago Police Department. They didn't take the police report. Y'all threatened me. Y'all told me that if I didn't leave town, that y'all was gonna find something and charge me with, and I would never leave town. Y'all had me, my daddy, and my daddy agreed to that shit. I was only 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. I did what my daddy told me to do. I left town. I couldn't come back town for like 2-3 years. I could only come home on weekends, shit like that. And I got tired of that shit. So I came back town and I said, fuck y'all. I learned that y'all couldn't lock me up. I learned that y'all couldn't charge me with rape because I didn't rape your daughter. But because you got the police department, you could charge me with anything. Because you got the state's attorney's office, you can lock me up and lose me. So I started learning about the law. And I learned that you can't just do anything to me. I learned how to use the law. So when I came back to town, I was straight. Plus, I've been working with the government in the Navy. I came out of the Navy. I was a firefighter down at Great Lakes Naval Base. I was a firefighter and I was selling drugs from the fire department. My chief used to sell me cocaine. Johnny Bench was my chief. He used to sell me ounces. We used to sell the weed and the cocaine to the sailors on base. That's before you did drug testing on the sailors. That's before you started doing that shit. Look it up. I ran Contra in 1978. I was in the Navy in 1978. I was on the USS Mississippi. My captain was Peter J. Heckman. My lieutenant commander, Gautier, I was his administrative assistant. I learned about the war on drugs because we transported drugs in the Navy. We were willing participants. We participated in it. We created that shit. Oliver North, I ran Contra, that shit real. So if I was 17 years old and I learned this at 17, what the fuck you gonna do with me now? Y'all wanna have this conversation? Y'all wanna have this conversation? In the war on drugs, you're in the violence. In the war on drugs, treat the war on drugs the same way that you're trying to treat the opioids, and you'll end the violence. You're also in mass incarceration. But if you're in mass incarceration and you're in the war on drugs, you're gonna end that cash cow that America got. Like I said, I'm gonna use social media to get this social justice because this is a social justice issue. So everybody's on the same page. Case number 07CF490, State of Illinois versus Dwayne Davis. I am Dred Scott. We're gonna take this shit to court. Won't be no rant, won't be no raving. Everybody that got my information, all those green cards, all those certified mail receipts, get my shit because we're going to court. I use social media for more than booty snacking and popping. I use it to inform the public because Martin Luther King showed me that. I want his job. It's been vacant too long. And Take on America, I call bullshit on you. Take that.